Right, it is 6:05, so we'll kick things off. Thank you all so much for joining Beyond Education's Insight event with IQEQ. This one's a really, really special one for me. And I have my boss, my old boss on this call, so I'm really trying to impress. But I actually used to work at IQEQ, if some of you don't know. And I only have good things to say about IQEQ. A lot of you always ask me, where should you start your career? And I always say the best place to start your career is in a client orientated firm because it just develops you into a whole rounded professional. And a lot of the stuff I do at Beyond Education and all the things that I've learned is literally all the stuff that I learned from IQEQ. So it's with great honor and privilege to be here today working with IQEQ to provide internships for you guys. With the IQEQ internship this year, they're going to be recruiting across four areas. So investment compliance, legal, commercial, and investor solutions. Today, we're going to be talking about the investment compliance and legal opportunities. And we have Rachel heading up the IQEQ Redcom team talking about the investment compliance opportunities. And then we have Rebecca Brown, who heads up the legal team as well, talking about those opportunities. And this is just a chance for you guys to ask questions and know more about IQEQ, the industry that they operate in, and how to stand out in the application process as well. So with that being said, be sure to be active in the chat and asking the questions. I'll be sure to position them as we kind of progress through the presentation. And as always, guys, I'll be sure to facilitate a feedback form after so you can let us know how we can make these sessions better for you. And once we get off these sessions, don't be afraid to go on LinkedIn and talk about how great the sessions were as well. But with that being said, I'll hand it over to Rachel.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Stephen. I mean, we're really happy to, be working with you again as an alumni of the IQEQ world. So welcome, everyone. My name's Rachel. I run what we call here Redcom, so Regulatory and Compliance Solutions, which essentially is two businesses. It's the regulatory hosting and it's compliance consulting. Um, we have we actually had four interns last year into IQEQ London. Actually two of them came into my team. The two are still here. We've got Michael, who is part of one of our monitoring teams, and Asamina, who was part of our advisory team, but has just secured a transfer into our compliance consulting division. So, we've had a really fantastic experience with those people. So we're looking forward to having some more great talent join us. So I'm just going to spend 5 minutes giving you a little bit of an intro into IQEQ. Then I'll talk about what the particular role is in my department. And then Rebecca's going to talk about the particular role that she has got in her department. So first of all, IQEQ, sort of slightly odd name. Certainly when I joined here in 2021, I had no clue kind of really what it meant, but I've had the opportunity to think about it quite a bit since then. So what the brand is trying to represent is the marrying together of IQ, as in intelligence, and the know-how, as we like to put it, and the EQ, which is the emotional intelligence, and the know you. So we like to say that we understand what clients do, and we also understand what they need us to do for them. So the IQEQ values kind of come through in absolutely everything that we do as a company, and we are really focused on both delivering for our clients but also delivering development opportunities for our staff as well. So I'm just going to hopefully let's just that's moved the page down. So a couple of facts and figures. We are a global organization. We're in 25 locations now globally. So we've got quite a few offices in North America. We've got offices right across Europe, so including the UK, Ireland, Guernsey, Jersey, the Isle of Man. We've got offices in Luxembourg, Cyprus, France. I'm probably missing a couple. We've also got offices in Asia, and the most recent one we opened was in Dubai, which is only a couple of weeks ago. So we are extremely keen to be in all of those key financial services jurisdictions. So we administer about 800 funds. So fund administration is very much at the heart of our business, and we've got over $750 billion worth of assets under administration. We focus very much on illiquid assets, so private equity, real estate, and infrastructure. That's really our kind of core expertise. actually, as it happens in my world, we do look after some liquid funds as well, so people who are trading in equities, fixed income, and so on. But our real kind of bed of expertise is on the illiquid side. So lots of people globally. We operate an outsourced model. So we have a lot of staff in Manila and in Mauritius and in India now supporting our onshore operations. Um, and we've got massive ambition to grow. So I don't know exactly what the kind of people target is, but we're looking for double digit growth over the next kind of couple of years. And when I say double digit, it's more than 10%. It's more in the kind of 20% range, and we want to be one of the 2 or 3 largest fund administrators globally. So it's been very much a journey for the organization. We started out kind of about 10 years ago pretty small, but through both organic growth and inorganic growth, i.e. buying other companies, we've really been on a rapid journey of growth. Okay. So that's a little map. I probably missed out a couple of countries there when I gave that whistle stop tour of where we are. What we're hoping to do actually is to create opportunities for people to move between jurisdictions. And in fact, one of the commercial guys I work with incredibly closely, Jack, is moving to New York in a couple of weeks. So it's something that we really want to promote going forward to make sure that our talent is mobile. Right. Okay. So I think I kind of touched on this already, but the summer internship program that we've got for this year is for 4 people across those 4 businesses. So compliance monitoring, legal, commercial, which essentially means business development and sales, and then investor solutions. It is a 3-month paid program. I think we're kicking off 4th of July, going through to the end of September. And of course, it will be packed full of lots of training and development, shadowing, mentoring, and network opportunities. And the objective is that we are able to offer the 4 people that do those internships full-time roles at the end of September. And that's in fact what happened this year. And all of the 4 people that joined us were offered full-time roles. So yeah, that's us. Okay, so my next page is about kind of what will I get, i.e. what will you guys get? And I think it doesn't matter which one of the roles that you end up applying for and working in. I think whichever one of those you do, you will get a really good insight into the workings of a large, successful, growing financial services firm. And what do I mean by that? Well, a couple of things. First of all, you get an insight into the type of people we employ. It's people like you. The type of work that we do on a day-to-day basis. I know when you look at job descriptions, they can feel very kind of dry, and you can sit there and think, yeah, but what does this actually mean? When I come in at 9 o'clock in the morning and sit at my desk, what will I actually be doing? So we really want to give you an insight into that. Also into the types of clients that we deal with. I mean, Stephen talked about the experiences he had with clients. We like to throw people in at the deep end. We like you to have very early contact with clients. So that's working with, the large private equity managers, the large real estate managers, the infrastructure managers that I've already talked about. In terms of the day-to-day, you'll be doing a lot of problem solving. So hopefully you'll be able to to bring the skills that you've developed to problem solve. You'll be able to show that you can meet deadlines. You'll be able to show that you can ask the right questions. We're really passionate that you will be developed as an individual by your manager. So you'll be given obviously a line manager when you join. You'll also be given a buddy and a mentor, and there'll be a sort of community support around the intern program as well. And also, we want to give you an insight into the extracurricular opportunities that arise from being part of the organisation. So we all know that work is not just work, right? It's not, you come in and sit at your desk for 7 hours a day and do your work. There's lots of other things that are involved there. So it's about working with people that you like and that you respect and you think have got good technical skills. We have a lot of pride in what we call our chess initiative. So I might get the words wrong here, but chess stands for community, health, um, social is one of them, uh, charity. Oh God, I'm getting it all wrong. But anyway, it's a employee-led network, if you like, which helps create opportunities for people to participate in those types of activities. So they will organise social events, they organise sporting events. So, for example, we've got a group of about 50 people doing the JP Morgan corporate run, if any of you know that. That happens in Battersea Park in the summer. We do volunteering days, so everybody here has the opportunity to spend a day, a paid day, doing volunteering opportunities, and we lay on a lot of things for people to kind of get involved in, whether you've got a passion for, the environment, or for poverty alleviation, or something like that. So, we hope over the summer to give you an idea of the types of extracurricular things you could expect to be exposed to if you are here. So that for me is what you will get if you come and be part of this program. Okay, I'm going to talk now a little bit about what the compliance, investment compliance role is all about. So I've got a number of teams sitting under me. One of them is compliance monitoring, and we think this is the best place for the intern to sit. So my business looks after around 100 appointed representatives, or clients, if you like, and those funds are conducting regulated activities such as managing funds, sourcing investors, sourcing deals, or perhaps doing corporate finance activities. Rather than those firms having to get their own FCA authorization, they come to us and they are approved as an appointed rep, and we are their principal firm. So we're kind of like an umbrella that they sit under, and it's our responsibility to make sure that they're operating within the rules. Therefore, we have a monitoring team that supervise a portfolio of their own firms. So they will be checking in very, very regularly with that portfolio of firms, maintaining strong relationships, understanding what the firms are doing, checking what they're up to, and supporting all of their compliance needs. So, as a couple of examples, we will be checking their bank accounts to make sure that they continue to be financially solvent. We're checking their governance arrangements to make sure that they've got the correct people sitting on their boards. We're making sure that they're adhering to all of the policies and procedures that are in our compliance manuals, and we're making sure that their staff are competent to do what they're supposed to be doing, for example, by giving them training. So I'm sure lots of you will be aware of the anti-money laundering regulations that are out there. We need to make sure that the people at our appointed reps understand what what those regulations are, and what their role in kind of upholding them is. So that's what our monitoring team are doing. So that is the team that you would be joining. We've got a very clear compliance monitoring plan so that people know what they're supposed to be up to. And the output of all of that is that they write quarterly reports saying, yes, XYZ firm is compliant, or perhaps it isn't. And that usually goes to the board of the appointed rep. So essentially, that's what you'd be joining, a small team doing that monitoring activity on our appointed reps. Okay, I've got one more page. Oh yeah, it's this one. Okay, so what skills do you need to be an intern in the monitoring department? So there's a couple of things. First of all, a bit of myth busting. You don't need to be, oops, hang on, I've gone, sorry, excuse me. You don't need to be an expert in the FCA handbook from day one. The FCA handbook is online, provided that you've got research skills, you can go there and look up anything you like. Secondly, you don't need to be a world expert in the funds world. We're here to kind of help you with that. You will be working within a team that has got that expertise, and they will help you along the way. So don't feel sort of put off that you need to be an expert in one or both of those things. However, what we do want you to have, is confidence. So you'll be speaking to clients and colleagues. Just as an example, we always ask our interns to run a lunch and learn to a to the rest of the team on a topic that they find interesting. Are you actually interested in, regulation and regulatory topics? Secondly, you need listening skills. So can you listen to what a client is telling you? Can you ask the client the right questions? Can you go back if you don't understand something to clarify? And you know when to seek a second opinion from one of your colleagues? Thirdly, it's around delivery. So are you able to deliver on time? Can you research a topic effectively? And do you keep those around you informed? Fourthly, time management. Are you able to prioritize effectively? How do you resolve competing demands on your time? Are you good at record keeping? It's very important for us to make sure that everything is documented properly and we've got records of everything. And do you enjoy working in an environment which is well organized? And then lastly, we're looking for written skills. So can you write precise and concise emails? Compliance has got a reputation for being not the most fascinating topic always on the planet. Clients don't want to read three-page emails asking them to do something. They want their instructions very precise and concise. And can you summarize lengthy conversations into bite-sized chunks? So I think if you can meet most or all of those skills, I think you would be a fabulous addition to our team. And, we look forward to testing some of those during the interview process. That's me.
Thank you so much for that, Rachel. We had a few questions kind of coming in, and I was kind of answering some that were straightforward, but there are a few specific ones here. So Laddie, thank you for your question. Is there support for attaining further qualification if one becomes permanent?
100%, yeah. So we like people to follow the ICA diploma in investment compliance, but there are other options. Some people would like to do the IMC qualification. There's specialist qualifications in financial crime. So we are, very supportive of that. On top of that, IQEQ has got a very comprehensive training program. So the answer is yes.
Perfect, perfect. And I guess like as long as the qualification is in line with what they're going to basically be doing in relation to their work, then that would justify why they should.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect. Another question here. What opportunities are available for interns to network and build relationships with colleagues across different departments? So that's a very interesting one because of I know when I was working in IQEQ, that was something that was kind of pushed towards like, networking with various different departments. So maybe you could speak to that effect.
Yeah. I mean, if I just speak briefly about our sort of working from home arrangements. So the our general um, it's not very prescriptive. We are very flexible about people's kind of requirements. We like people to come in to the office kind of 3 days a week. I come in 5 days a week because I just prefer to sit here than at home. I think, to get the most out of this opportunity, it would be worthwhile you coming in every day. But the point I'm trying to make is actually there's a lot of people here on a daily basis. So I think there are something like 400 staff in London. Obviously, they're not here all the time, all of them, but the office is reasonably full most of the time. There are colleagues all around you. We've got a fantastic kind of kitchen area which is really great for sort of just having informal chats with people, for meeting new people, um, and doing that sort of thing. And we do quite a few social sort of things in there as well. So I would say there are lots of opportunities. We like people, if you want to run something and put something on, go for it. Volunteer, put your hand up, kind of join our employee-led networks, and get involved.
Yeah, perfect. And I think one thing I would add to that as well is that IQEQ being a services-based firm, there's different entities servicing clients, and 9 times out of 10, sometimes there's always an overlap as well. So you are going to be able to interact with various different people within the company that's servicing a client. So it's just a
Yeah,
great
for sure.
opportunity to kind of
Yeah,
like,
so we might be doing fund administration and giving them regulatory compliance solutions, and going back to some of the other areas, maybe investor solutions as well. So there's lots of shared clients across the group, and the same internationally. So I've got a number of clients that are also clients of the US, Asia, Luxembourg, wherever.
Got you. This one's probably more of an appropriate question for HR, but I don't know if Rebecca or Rachel, you guys can speak to this. But someone asked, how often do you have internships? And are internships all year round? So I know last year was kind of the first time IQEQ had done an internship, but is this something that they plan to continue to do, or is there any view on that at the moment?
Rebecca, do you want to?
I think that varies from department to department. We don't have anything formal IQEQ wide in place to take interns every year, but
Mhm.
various businesses will, like Rachel's business has, take interns from time to time. Personally, in my legal team, we haven't had an intern yet. We've had paralegals, we've had trainee solicitors, we've had people who wish to become qualified, but we haven't taken anyone on this kind of on an internship, paid internship basis on the short term. So it varies. I think this is the first formal program we're doing in London, at least.
Got
No,
you.
we did a formal one last year. This is the second one. Um, but we are, as I said before, the company is growing. Obviously, to grow, we need more staff. So we are, you know, trying to be as creative as possible about how we can bring talent into the organisation.
Noted. I think we'll take one final question before we move on to legal, and this one's for you, Rachel. Would interns get the opportunity to pick their choice of asset classes slash portfolio that they want to monitor? So let's say, for example, someone's really interested in REITs. Like, how does the
Hmm.
selection process work in terms of getting clients? And I know I'm laughing because this was a very competitive process last time I remembered. So yeah.
Well, interestingly, we've got 6 REITs that we act as AFM to, so this is very much a sector that we, focus on. I would just say, make your preferences known. We want people to get the most out of these opportunities. So if you've got a particular interest, for sure, shout up, and we can make sure that your um, experience aligns to what your interest is.
Noted, noted. Thank you for that comprehensive overview, Rachel. I think I
No
would
problem.
ask the other questions in the end, but I'll pass it over
Yeah.
to Rebecca to cover the legal team.
Shall I go slide down? There we
Yes,
go.
please. Thanks, Rachel. Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca. I'm head of legal for IQEQ in our region. The region's made up of
Oh,
UK,
sorry.
Ireland, and the Crown. That's okay. UK, Ireland, and the Crown dependencies. So that's Jersey, Guernsey, and Isle of Man. As some of you may know, there are different legal systems in place in each of those jurisdictions. So we're kept plenty busy by trying to manage all of the different laws in the different places. Um, this slide gives you a bit of a snapshot of my team and the people you'll be working with. I report into our group general counsel, and our group legal team across the globe has about 20 lawyers globally. But my team that's responsible for our region, there are 4 of us at the moment, with varying kind of degrees of seniority, from unqualified at the paralegal level through legal counsel, a senior legal counsel, and myself as head of legal, with some experience under my belt at this point. So we're all based in London. As Rachel said, on any given day of the week, there'll be usually around 3 or 4 of us there. So we rotate our days that we're in the office. But there is, I think, an expectation that for this internship role, you'll be in the office the majority of the time, just because that's the best way to learn, in my opinion, particularly at a junior level in your career, is to learn by osmosis and be around the lawyers that you're working with. So my team services work across all of these jurisdictions and across different business lines. So Rachel talked a lot about her business and regulatory compliance services from that angle, but we also do provide a lot of different services across the IQEQ through fund admin, accounting, back office work for different types of funds, but also on the corporate side, providing company secretaries, holding companies, directors for clients that need new companies incorporating, for example. And also we have a large private wealth business where we act as an administrator and trustee for various family offices. They tend to be in Jersey, Guernsey, and Isle of Man because of favourable legislation there and favourable tax positions in those jurisdictions. And we provide a whole host of services to those family offices, acting as trustee, like I mentioned. We might provide directorship services. We can have a very hands-on role in managing that individual's kind of private wealth arrangements. Yeah, basically, the legal team is the first port of call for any legal issue across the region, whether it's with a contract, whether it's with a dispute, whether it's a threatening letter, a piece of litigation, an appointment of an external counsel, anything legal comes through my team. Next slide, please, Rachel. So what do we actually do? This is quite a busy slide because we're a very busy team. The main bullets here are organized in kind of complexity order. So starting at the lower end, the simple stuff, we need to manage our files, to track matters, to do version control on documents, to sort out who can sign a document when it's in agreed form and ready to sign. This is our kind of bread and butter work, and typically an intern will spend most of your time working at this end of things, so creating documents from templates and managing those templates. Typically, the sorts of things we'll be asking you to do would be update a template with new language, save it to the correct file area, make comparison documents of one version versus a prior version of a negotiated document, liaise with the business and tell them who can sign and how they get it signed, etc. Going up the ladder of complexity, at the more kind of senior end of the team, negotiating with clients on documentation is probably where we spend about 50% of our time as a team. We send out documents that govern the provision of IQ-EQ services, and as you can imagine, they get negotiated back and forth with our clients and with their external counsel, typically. So an intern might be involved in that, ensuring all comments have been discussed and addressed, researching contentious areas in the document, joining calls with clients, taking notes on calls with clients, producing memos for the other lawyers in the team to review. And I guess then going even further down into the most high stakes areas at IQ-EQ, Rachel mentioned our ambition and our growth, and we've grown hugely by acquiring other companies in recent years, and that kind of M&A, mergers and acquisition, remain a priority for IQ-EQ. Typically, we'll have external counsel to negotiate the terms of what we're buying and those sale documents. But the internal legal team and my legal team get involved in reviewing a target acquisition's typical contracts, asking those pertinent legal questions during a Q&A process. And I suppose we would definitely, if an acquisition is ongoing at the time of joining, we would definitely look to get an intern involved in that process and that transaction. At the highest level of things, at the most complex end of things, we do manage disputes and potential litigation where it's happening within our region. So we take an active role in assessing what's happened, reporting to management, advising management, attending board calls where we need to, actively taking legal steps to manage kind of emerging risk and notify our insurers where applicable. So typically for an intern, that might look like attending calls, reviewing the file, preparing summary notes for us on the disputes. So what I've done is just dotted around this slide examples of what my team were doing yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, I asked them, just tell me what you're working on exactly this afternoon so that I can give a real life feel of what we're typically doing. And I think it gives you a really good idea of the variety of work we're doing. So, you know, from chasing a non-paying client that owes us a few $100,000 in legal fees and writing a letter to deal with that, to an incident with somebody sending the wrong attachment on an email that might have data protection implications. We would be asking lots of questions to assess the legal impact of that. We also do things like policy reviews. So we get involved with, yesterday afternoon, I was looking at our new sustainability policy to check that everything we're committing to is in line with our legal obligations, like the Modern Slavery Act, etc. So in terms of area of law, I guess what I'm getting at is that this role is primarily commercial. and regulatory with a focus on funds law for obvious reasons. But we also do litigation, dispute resolution, employment law from time to time, and corporate and M&A from time to time. So it's a real mixed bag, and it's a real great opportunity to really get a grounding across many different areas of law. So yeah, in terms of comparing a legal internship in an in-house role compared with a private practice role in a law firm, you will get a much greater variety in an in-house internship, and you'll get a better feel for where you may want to specialize in due course, would be my opinion on it. That's it for this slide. Rachel, next slide, please.
Yep.
Thank you. So what skills do you need? Let's look through the skills quickly and talk about what we're looking for and how you might demonstrate them in the application process. I think some of these are obvious. Sorry, Rachel, we've just flipped one slide ahead. It's just one back.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I don't
That's okay, don't worry. Some of these are obvious for lawyers, to be honest. Things like attention to detail. It's a career that is built around accuracy with the written word. So you need to have good written skills. You might not appreciate this early on in your career, how precise you actually have to be. But you know, we are very rigorous in what we create for the business. And if you're a person who kind of cringes over a missing apostrophe or a typo that really jumps off the page to you, then I think you've got the right mindset for us. Other of these skills are probably less obvious. We are looking for somebody that's confident. I think, you know, the difference between in-house practice and private practice is the client I serve is the business. So my client is Rachel and the people who work for Rachel. And we need to build, as lawyers, we need to build that level of trust and respect with the businesses that we're acting for. And so to do that, I think you have to be very confident and professional at all times. And it is the case in my team that even at the internship level and even very junior members of the team can be advising and working for quite senior members within the business. So, you know, if Rachel needs an NDA reviewed, she may be dealing with a paralegal in my team, and that paralegal needs to be confident in her kind of professional manner and personal skills to deal with senior stakeholders. So they're the kind of primary ones. There are some other things on the slide. Obviously, organization is absolutely key. Another one I'd like to call out is being ambitious. Do you really want to be a lawyer? Because it's going to involve a lot of hard work. There are a lot of boxes to tick. There are exams to come. Professional practice takes years of graft to get there in some cases, in all cases, actually. So I mean, I highly recommend it. Being in professional practice gives you job security and income security, as well as being a fascinating and very varied career. But you know, you really need to demonstrate to us, I think, in the application that you are ambitious, that you do have a record of going out and achieving quite ambitious goals. So that's what skills you will need. In terms of, Rachel went through a little bit like what we can offer, but specifically in my team, you will be given a legally qualified mentor to shadow. At the minimum, it's a great experience for you and for your CVs. The best case scenario is not just a paid full-time role, but a full-time role that then can develop into a role as a fully fledged solicitor in due course after the various routes. Some of you will be aware of the various routes that you can go down to become a solicitor, but at IQEQ, we've got good experience of supporting all of those. We've had people come via the SQE route. We've supported traditional training contracts. We haven't had anyone come through the ILEX qualification route yet for legal secretaries, but that's more because we don't really do that much secretarial work. But we are experienced and well versed with supervising people through this process. So hopefully that's going to prove very attractive for people. Next slide, please, Rachel. So next steps. Attend the event tomorrow. I think it'll be super interesting to see the comparison between the very regulatory and legal areas that myself and Rachel are talking about, and the sales opportunities, and the investor solution guys are all quite techy and their opportunities might look quite different. So attend the event tomorrow. I'd highly recommend that. Keep an eye on the social media pages, etc., for Beyond Education and for IQEQ. The deadline for applications is 12th of May. So I think is that next Friday? Yeah, next Friday. So coming up quickly. And then we'll conduct screening interviews with the Beyond Education team before interviewing with IQEQ, expected week commencing 26th of May. It'll be a two-stage process, so you will get to meet not just myself and Rachel, but other relevant people at IQEQ during that process. And hopefully everything will go smoothly and we'll be welcoming new interns in July.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Rebecca, and thank you for the comprehensive overview. A few questions coming in. One, particularly about training. So obviously, given the fact that it's a 3-month internship, what does training look like? And then post, actually joining the role and kind of like working your way to becoming a fully qualified solicitor, what does that look like as well?
So for me, the early training in the role will be focused on shadowing. It'll be focused on getting to know the team and how they work. So you'll be brought in on every client call, you'll be brought in on every negotiation, brought in on every email, so you can see exactly how we're operating. Mm-hmm. And then early on, the way that we typically train would be to give somebody a task to fill out, to create a contract from a template, supervised by a lawyer while they do it, and give them the opportunity to ask questions and get to know what to do just by watching and repeating, basically. So you'll work really closely with qualified lawyers in the team during your internship to make sure that you're progressing in the right way. After that, in terms of a paid permanent position and a full-time role, the way it depends on your educational status at the time, I guess. So if you have not studied a law degree, you would traditionally need to go through the GDL program, which is a law conversion course, and the LPC program, which is a legal practice course, before you can start a training contract with IQEQ. So we've had people that will typically do those part-time, study part-time, and IQEQ can offer some support there to study part-time for those qualifications. And then once they're in place, we can start the formal training period, which is 2 years long. So it's a long journey to becoming a lawyer. Lots of people on this call will be interested in that and know about that route already. It is a long journey. There are some new routes offered in the SQE, which is a different process based on a qualification exam. You'll typically need to study for that qualification exam, a law degree or similar, and a qualifying period spent practicing with a firm like IQEQ. We are authorized to provide that training. So it's just a different route, which we can talk about with a successful candidate in due course. But I think the key message is that we want to develop good, talented lawyers in our team. So we'll support you whatever route you choose.
No, thank you for that. And I think I can very much speak to the first part of what you mentioned about being exposed to client calls and just being involved in the process. And I think that's ultimately the best teacher. As someone that prior to joining IQEQ, I was on a graduate scheme. I was very surprised when I joined IQEQ as a junior, the amount of exposure I was getting. Honestly, I can't stress how unparalleled this exposure is just in terms of what you're doing. And I think being put in the deep end from early on just really forces you to kind of learn the job. So I very much think that is the best way, to be honest. Another question that somebody had, in terms of the interview process, I know we kind of covered this early on in our call. Rebecca, what does that look like?
So we'll have a two-stage process, probably with a senior legal counsel in my team and hopefully with someone from the business as well, just to get that kind of feel of how confident the person is and whether they'd be a good fit. There will be, at the second stage, there will be a little bit of an exercise, a case study exercise for applicants to do. Which is nothing too worrying or complex. It's really just to get a feel for how good your written skills are and your comprehension and interpretation skills are. So nothing too daunting. We've already kind of met already virtually. So that second interview will probably be with me. So nothing too daunting. You've already met me, so no big deal.
Noted, noted. And someone, this one's a very interesting one because I know again we kind of talked about this earlier. Do you need to be studying a law degree to do the legal internship?
Not necessarily. I think that look, a law degree it typically indicates that you've got an interest in law, but it's not the path for everyone. I have a chemistry degree, so
Wow.
you know, there's people take all sorts of different paths to the legal practice, and we're willing to support people whatever their path. And I think that as long as your skill set is there, analytical skills, written skills, confidence, ambition, you can demonstrate those, whether it's, I saw someone in the chat say engineering, whether you're an engineering graduate or a chemistry graduate or a drama graduate, you can demonstrate those skills in a variety of ways. And as long as you've got those skills, we're open to applications.
Noted. And another question that someone asked directly, what does it take to kind of thrive in the internship and be someone that stands out to be able to secure a full-time offer after?
I think for me, it's somebody who just really shows an interest that makes you stand out. Somebody who is asking questions and being really engaged and kind of saying, all right, we're working on a document together, and they go, oh, actually, can you just explain to me, what are these services about? How does it work? What does a typical client look like? How big is this client? How much money is this worth to you? Just ask questions and really show an interest in what you're doing, instead of just kind of filling in the tasks you're given. Can you complete this document for me, and just filling it in and filing it. But to stand out, it's somebody who just really shows that they're interested.
Noted, noted. And another person as well just asked in that same breath as well, during the application process, what are the ways that they can also stand out as well beyond their interests?
These slides are going to be made available to everyone, aren't they, Stephen? So
Yeah.
have a look back through the slides, and for each role, both Rachel and I kind of pointed out the key things we think we need in each role. And so I would think about targeting those specifically and saying, okay, let's take confidence. How do I demonstrate a history of dealing with senior people, senior stakeholders? When have I had experience doing that? Whether it's been approaching a tutor at university or something like that, and just really think about those specific examples and try and bring them out in your application.
Noted, noted, noted. Just looking through, skimming through final questions. Yeah, so someone was just asking about cover letters with the application process. So obviously, due to tight timelines, we're just asking for people to kind of submit a CV. And a lot of you guys will know within the Beyond Education community, our website is full of various different templates for you to be able to articulate a very, very good CV to make sure that you're a strong candidate on paper. And I feel like this is really important as well. It's very overwhelming the amount of people still don't know how to write a CV, and this is arguably the most important document you would ever write in your life. So what I would say to you guys is, go on our website, go on Career Suite, and just make sure that you're using those templates to make sure that you're good on paper, because this is ultimately the first impression of you. So you want to make sure that you stand out very well in that respect. Another question for you, Rachel: can CVs for legal interns be 2 pages long?
Absolutely, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, guys, I think it's more,
I
more
mean,
so.
I like one-page CVs, to be fair, but I
For-
know people struggle to get it down to one
Yeah,
page.
I think it's just
I'll
more so
have
about the content. So, did you have something to say, Rachel?
No, no, no.
Uh, So, yeah, I think it's more so just about the content and making sure that it's relevant. As long as everything on the CV is relevant, then it's absolutely fine. But yeah, with that being said, I'm looking through. I don't think there are any more questions. So with that being said, guys, what I would say is that I'm gonna make sure that I circulate a feedback form after this, and then I can see that some people are also asking for the link for the sign up form for tomorrow's session as well. So that would be in the email. If you guys sign up to that, registrations are going pretty quickly as well. Um, And the recording of this session, along with the slides, will also be made available on the website as well. Make sure you're a member to be able to access that. And lastly, be sure to make a song and dance on LinkedIn about how you find the session. That would be much appreciated. And with that being said, thank you so much, Rachel and Rebecca, for spending time. I can see, Rachel, you're still in the office. So thank you so much for spending time to actually speak to us this evening. Really, really.
No problem at all. I mean, we are, as I said, sort of really excited to be part of this program. We really want to broaden the traditional routes that we've kind of recruited from in the past, and I think we need to do that as a larger employer. We are very, very supportive of that. So it's been really great to hear everybody's questions, and thank you very much for your engagement in the process. And I know obviously everybody that applies is not going to be successful at the end, but we would like to make it a learning process for everybody. And hopefully, even if you're not successful, you can kind of take something from this in your future job hunting or intern hunting. So that's why we actually put a lot of effort into it. But thank you.
No, thank you so much, guys. With that being said, I'll leave you guys to it. Save 10 minutes back of your time. Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.